is where America's peace of mind begins. Around the clock, radar's electronic eyes watch the skies and report what they see to SAGE, defense system of the United States Air Force. Here is a SAGE center on 24-hour alert. At its heart is a computer developed by a research team from MIT and IBM working with the Air Force. The SAGE computer speeds the information for decisions by man in our missile age. Every scheduled flight across American frontiers is recorded ahead of time on IBM punch cards, then fed into the SAGE computer. Now the computer can draw a picture of what is supposed to be in the sky at any moment. It continually compares this expected picture with the real picture as seen by radar. If a flying object does not belong, it appears on this viewing screen. There's one now at the right of the screen. They call it a blip, unknown flying object. Friend or foe, within seconds the...
Hello, welcome to Season 1, Episode 3. This episode is called... this season is Ground Stop Anomalies. This episode is Airport Data. So what I'm doing, to give context, January 10th, there was a nearly unprecedented multi-region ground stop issued by the FAA that stopped all departures of aircraft on the West Coast and Hawaii. And they told airplanes not to take off. They told some planes that were airborne to land, and this was because of the North Korean missile test that happened at the same time. There's a little bit of chaos and confusion around that time. The FAA said, stop. Nope, go. Okay, stop. No, go. And then someone pointed me at this, which is at LAX around the time of the ground stop. United Airlines jet was in the process of taking off when a small plane over here, this is the United Airlines jet, this is the small plane.
Wingspan 5, verify hold short, runway 25 right stop, please.
Went where it shouldn't go. And the United Airlines jet had to reject their takeoff. Slam on the brakes. Pull off the runway.
United 566,
they got up to about 60 or 64 knots before they slammed on the brakes. Nothing bad happened. No one got hurt. They just got in line to take off again. They had to wait 15 minutes for their brakes to cool down because they dumped so much energy into them. And I was just curious if maybe the ground stop contributed in some way. Maybe people were distracted, not paying attention to where planes were or where they were. Increased workload. And so I got curious whether this sort of thing happened anywhere else besides LAX within these few minutes. The ground stop itself, I think, lasted, it sort of flipped back and forth on and off, but I think it was completely done in maybe 10 or 15 minutes. I was curious whether there were any other rejected takeoffs or go-arounds or any other anomalies. And I have the data to answer that question. I have history of all aircraft on the West Coast at that time in GeoJSON format. So I'm writing a program to analyze it and detect weird stuff. Hey, Aria.
Good night, Dada.
Good night. Love you. See you later. And in the last episode, we got as far as, this is kind of the heart of things. So we have this giant, how big is it? A lot of megabytes, this GeoJSON data file. At 573 meg in pretty JSON format, 220 meg in the compressed form. No white space. So we're loading it, we're parsing it, we're processing it. We're looking at every aircraft. And right now, basically what we wrote in the last episode is detect rejected takeoff. So given one aircraft's history, which is a sequence of states, where state is the position, altitude, ground speed, and timestamp, we're looking for something that might be a rejected takeoff. And the way we do that is, so first of all, we only look at states where the altitude is 0. Ignore everything else or reset the state if it's not 0. So if it's 0, then we start counting the number of data points that we see accelerations. Oh good, my mouse just died. Luckily I have a backup. So if we see more than, if we see at least 3 data points in a row, well, not exactly in a row. If we see at least 3 data points where there have been accelerations, and in between those data points there have been no decelerations, speed could be the same, and the last ground speed was over the threshold of 50 knots, so we're assuming no one's going to be taxiing at 50 knots. And then we see a deceleration. New state ground speed is less than the last ground speed we recorded. Let's consider that a rejected takeoff. Let's take a look. We printed out URLs for these things, and we got sort of well, we found it. There were kind of 2 things. The main thing that was just weird edge cases, like aircraft reporting that they were at 0 feet while they're flying. Let's see. That was a lot of them. Just the altitude was wrong, and that's just a fact that we have to handle. A lot of aircraft have equipment that is broken, or for some reason they're reporting the wrong data. Here's an aircraft that's it's reporting that it's on the ground as it's flying along the coast. It's definitely not on the ground, and that's why the track is gray, because ADS-B Exchange doesn't know any better either. This is the data we have to work with. It says it's on the ground. I mean, it's actually over the ocean at this point. So we basically found every aircraft like that. Somewhere in here is this one rejected takeoff that we're definitely looking for. We know it happened. All these other ones are kind of just weird things. So how do we filter out the weird things? Oh, this is kind of a fun one. So this is a TISB contact. Pretty low. I don't know, maybe a fast helicopter, maybe. Yeah, helicopter, I think. Oh, and even going minus 200 feet. So yeah, the altimeter is a little untrustworthy. So anyway, what we're going to do in this episode is we're going to try to filter out this weird stuff by using additional information, which is, I think just to start, it's just the location of runways. So we took a look at, let's see if I can find it. There's a website, has this very nice little visualization, little map of runway headings around the world, which reflects something about the prevailing winds in that area. I should have bookmarked this. Anyway, it's a nice map. The important thing, though, it wasn't the map, it's where did they get their data about runway locations and headings. And they have a handy link that tells us where it's from. I downloaded it. Let me make this bigger. Runways.csv. So So the important thing is this latitude and longitude. So this has, for each runway, it has 2 coordinates and 2 headings. Each runway you can land on from 2 different directions. So that's why it has 2 headings. And I guess the 2 different coordinates, maybe that's the start of the runway if you're approaching from that direction. So my idea is we'll just try to filter anything. We'll filter out anything that's like, I don't know, a mile from a runway. Let's try that. So we have this CSV file. We're going to have to load it and parse it. So let's go back to this code. Here's where we read the GeoJSON. And now we're kind of just want to do the same thing with the CSV or something a little bit similar. Okay, so we read the aircraft in GeoJSON. Runway data file. Yeah, that's close. I think it's runway.csv. Yeah. And now we want to iterate over every line. Let's not use a CSV crate or anything. Let's just, right, because this looks pretty simple. Does have some strings. Okay, fine. Let's see if there's a nice handy CSV crate we can use. I'm not a great Rust programmer. I'm learning. I've written like 4 or 5 programs in Rust, something like that. It's weird though. I kind of feel like I'm at an interesting point in my Rust knowledge, which is that I have this really kind of workaday knowledge, and that I still need to look up things like how do I read a file. But I just don't do anything fancy. And I guess after like almost 30 years of programming, I'm a little sick of doing fancy stuff. This looks promising. I don't really want to do, I don't think we need SARD CSV support. I mean, maybe, but for now, let's try something simpler. This looks good. So let's try quick CSV. I think I solved some of the technical issues that I had in the first 2 episodes. Last time, especially, the webcam was lagging. I think I fixed that. Just have to use a lower resolution. It's okay. Okay, let's look at this example. All right, so read the file. Oops. No. If you see gray text as a kind of a suggestion, that's like right there, that's GitHub Copilot, which I have enabled and love. It's, as someone said, it's kind of like pair programming. But you let the other person do a lot of the work. That was John Meacham, my old colleague from Google, who said that. Okay, runway contents. reader. Okay. We open the file, we read the contents into a string. It's not that big, that's fine, no big deal. Now, oops. Let's parse it. Even though I'm a pretty workaday style beginning Rust programmer, I try to do good error handling most of the time, but for this, I mean, this is like a little bit of a one-shot program, so we're just calling unwrap everywhere. We're not trying to handle errors in a good way. We're just going to die if there's any unexpected anything. Okay. So we need something to hold all these runways. And we'll just put that in another function. Settle down, Copilot. Okay. We'll just make it take a string. So what do we want? Let's just do... For now, it's a vector of runways. And in our runway struct, fine, we'll have an ID. Let's just have a position, which is the longitude and latitude. Okay. So we're actually just going to pass the string. Does GitHub Copilot know what we're doing here? Not exactly. Maybe. Let's try it. Okay, so let's look at the format here. ID, airport reference, airport ident. Let's do the, so let's make the ID airport ident, which is the third field. Does this work at all? Fix that. Got a mutable vector. We're gonna grow. Fine. I guess we could map it. Right. Okay, so we're going to map over all the rows. Result is still an iterator. We collect to actually turn it into a vector. I accidentally made like a 9-ounce Manhattan tonight. Sponsored by Phillips Academy. This episode. Okay, airport. We're mapping over each row. Airport ident is 0 and 2. Does that just not work at all? Oh. Consistent with our terrible error handling. Does that work? We just index directly? Nope. How about that? Does this switch? Oh, really? No? How are they doing this? Row. Next unwrap. Row. Oh, columns. Right. Copilot knows. Another. Oops. Yeah, another unwrap. Okay. Can we index? Oh. We just index into the columns. So I'm thinking, okay, so it's, you know, if you're not super familiar with Rust or you don't know Rust, this might seem like a little bit of trouble compared to, say, like reading a CSV in Python. Should be faster, I would hope. Maybe, maybe not. Yeah, okay, so we can't index into that directly. Let's return option self item. It's an item. Oh, interesting. This decode method. Okay, so item is a string. Is that right? Yeah. Okay. Airport ident. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Latitude is 9. Yep, that's about right. Yep. Airport ident. Yeah, that's right. Okay, I think that's our process runways function. Need to borrow here. Okay, so we have the runways. Dare we do a linear search of every runway? It's a little bit slow already. Yeah. So let's pass the runways to this so I can use that information to decide, well, to filter stuff out. Like, obviously it's going to be completely way too slow, right? For every single position, we're going to see if
getting heated like a lung full of smoke. Like, yo, you want a day to day? I'm steady trying to mold this paper mache. Trying to offer you my brain with all the shapes that it made. These legs stay in the blush. What a waste of crayons. I've been trying to get it like I'm dimming the lights low. Keep my soul, but still fill up this pie hole. I see them ride those fads to the end station. Go ahead and chase it. I know this shit moves to psychos. I'm good. Yeah. I don't really fuck with triangles no more. Rectangles either. I don't fuck with hectagons even. I'm done trying to work the angle. It's enough just working the circle. She's such a beautiful problem. Threw me for a loop to be honest. This phone feeling like a tumor in my pocket. I'ma get up on the roof and drop it. Shit was everything, now it's nothing at all. Yeah, I'm missing you, but not enough to call. Now I'm looking back on it, trying to put together the parts. The equation of where we started, where we are is a circle. Hitting the raw Pavlov again. Shorty try to conquer like Napoleon. My guards low off for the phone. And she talking all that zodiac jazz. I'm like, lover, I don't know about that shit. Fact, I don't really know jack. Like Nicholson, I just came through swinging my axe, trying to get intimate. Through the feel of the flesh. As soon as I get some real feelings, I jet. The circles. Yeah. I don't really fuck with triangles no more. Nah. I don't really fuck with rectangles either. Nah. I don't fuck with hectagons either. I'm done trying to work the angle. It's enough just working the circle. The circles. Tell me rumbling for money rolls. My hands looking for sun to hold. My mind running like butter on toast. I'm sitting back, getting comfortable. Like, yo, I'm done with a decade of paying rent late. My funds dried up, but I kept the pen spraying. Now I'm penning these babies again, pay. Penetrating the game, bumper shot day. So if you play this in the fall, what's up? I know the song wasn't long enough, like what the fuck? But yeah, everything will come around. We gon' shut it down. My circle, keep it 100 thou, mutual hours, good. Yeah. I don't really fuck with triangles no more. Nah. See, I don't really fuck with rectangles either. Nah. I don't fuck with hectagons either. I'm done trying to work the angle. It's enough just working the circle. The circle. 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 Circle.
Oh, because it wasn't plugged in. Oh my god. It's, terrible. Just this thing wasn't plugged in. That would explain it. Ridiculous. You know, this is why I've told about 4 people that I do these streams. Well, that's amazing. Anyway, yeah, you didn't get to hear. I made a lot of good jokes. My daughter came in. It was really cute. There was a cute moment. Oh, I probably just pulled it out. Okay, all right, that's good. It was on at first, and then it got pulled out. That can happen. Squish, squish. I'm eating those cherries. I get really focused. I mean, one thing about live coding and streaming is that normally I am so focused when I'm programming that I can't listen to music that has lyrics, like anything. My entire concentration is focused on programming. And that's why I don't notice anything else. I guess I need to learn how to do that, but for now, this is what it is. Okay. So we got the geo. We want the sign distance. Oh, okay. We need to convert it to a point, a geo point. Okay. Oh crap. See, now I use tuples and I don't know which is the Latin, which is the long. If runway's too close. I think the first is the lat. I should totally change this to a structure. I mean, I could do that right now. Let's do it. So point chords will now return a geo point. Right? That solves all our problems. The restaurant music. I know. I looked for DMCA free metal, which exists, but I just feel weird playing like generic metal in a way that I don't feel weird playing other kind of generic DMCA free music. Right, right. John, focus on the code. We want to return a point. Longitude, then latitude. God. See, now I had about 1 ounce too much Manhattan to keep track of longitude versus longitude everywhere. Geometry. Oh, God, it doesn't. Why couldn't it just tell me in the example? Seriously. Okay, fine. We'll just do it like this. What's the error here? Oh. It wants the generic argument. No rules expected. What? Oh. X and Y. Oh, thank God. Thank God that saves us. Oh, no, it doesn't, because I still don't know. We'll say that's latitude. We'll just see what happens. The first time we run it and it spits out something ridiculous, I'll know I transposed those. Okay. Oh, and let's change this. It's now a nice data structure. A nice struct. What is it? Oh. Fine. We're getting there. We're going to just fix one error at a time. Sure. I know. We don't need to do that anymore. Let's do the same for runways, I guess. We'll make that a geo point. Let's move that up at the top. Oh shit, we're doing this almost an hour. I want to do this though once we need to filter by airports. We'll get there, we're almost there. Only one more error to fix. Oh shit, no. A few more popped up. This is a point. This is all good data hygiene. Let's pause. Oops. How do real streamers detect when they've pulled the plug out of their microphone? Okay, we're almost there. This is a point. Why it doesn't like that? Lat lawn, that is lat, that's lawn. Why is lat? Just to be nice. I don't think that's gonna make the error go away. Oh, but it did. Oh really, what's the problem here? Mutable. Really? It's gotta be mutable for that. Whatever, fine. Code wants it mutable, it's mutable. There we go. We're ready, finally, now we're in. We're ready to compile and run this. Oh my god. Yeah. Right, if a real streamer, if their mic died, they'd get like 100 comments in the chat box warning them. But you did your job, you let me know. I would have done the entire rest of the stream completely silent except for this DMCA easy listening rap-ish music, if you hadn't told me. And the good news is that will be immortalized forever. I uploaded all these to YouTube also. Oh, it's running. Okay, so now what it's doing is it's looking at the position history, position and speed and altitude history of every aircraft on the West Coast for a couple hours, looking for aircraft that started accelerating on the ground. Oh, whoa. started accelerating on the ground and then decelerated and did that when they were near a runway. It's not bad. It isn't probably going to work. Actually, I feel kind of confident about the lat versus lawn thing now. I think that's all going to fall out. It's just going to work. Did I not put that in? I think I did. Oh, good. Good, a panic. One that I didn't expect. Oh, God. So it failed to parse the CSV. I don't know why. So let's just do something kind of weird. Let's run it through aug. Look at that 10th field, because that's where it died. Sort. Oh, what? Okay. That's weird. Zero, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Huh. Wait a minute. Why do a lot of these not have coordinates? What the? Seriously? Let's look for LAX. Okay, it's got coordinates. All right, so we'll just skip it. If it doesn't have coordinates, we'll skip it. For now. See, that's the problem. I had to get all fancy and map it. Fuck. It's for loop. For loop, baby. Should have done it from the start. Okay, a little mechanical translation here. So this is the good path. Sure. Create an empty vector. We're going to add the runway to. There's probably a totally easy way to do it using map that I can't think of right now. It's okay. This is the workaday philosophy of programming. Okay, so this should give the same result as before. Now, I'm just speed programming now because we've gone long enough. I want to get some results. So we got something. Okay, so it's going to be a string. And we got a string for that. Oh, it's not is null copilot. You're like a child wandering into a program. You have no clue what's going on. That's better. So we're just looking at the raw string before we parse it. If it's, hopefully this will work. If it's empty, skip it. Otherwise, parse it. Cool. Run it. Or, before I did this, I played an hour of Squad. It was Friday night, or no shit, it was Saturday night. Saturday night, it was time to drink exactly 9 ounces of a Four Roses Manhattan and play exactly 1 hour of Squad. And that teaches me slang that the kids use these days. Send it. So we're sending it right now. Oh, what? Same panic. Okay, it's cool. That's totally cool. What does this return anyway? Oh, an option item. Okay. It's okay. So we have to just check it a little earlier. Check the option. And let's, fine, let's use the stuff the language gives us. Yeah, that's kind of it. Boop. So we're going to do a match. If there is some value, parse it, push it. Otherwise, you don't need to print anything. Don't print anything. Just skip it. There we go. Let's try that. Nope. Oh, it's going to tell me a better way to write this. Yeah, I am trying to use match for destructuring a single pattern, and I should use if let. Do it. Send it. Run it. Because we want to get done. It's time. I want some ice cream. For the first 2 years of the pandemic, I ate exclusively Haagen-Dazs pistachio ice cream. I don't know why. That was just part of my soothing ritual every night, almost every night. And then something switched. I dabbled in some other ones, and I always came back to pistachio. Happened. Didn't find anything. Why is that? Come on. Okay, so that could happen if the latitude and longitude is screwed up, right? Because it's filtering anything out that's not by an airport. We can check that. Well, so my new ice cream is Ben & Jerry's vanilla chocolate chip cookie dough core, which is vanilla chocolate chip ice cream, and then it has like a cylindrical structure of cookie dough running through it. So it kind of lets you choose how much cookie dough you want in each bite. You can work it out with the spoon. Yeah, it's special, and that's what I eat a lot of. Amy just ordered from Vons, and we have I think we have 3 pints in the freezer right now, which I love. I was doing it like I'm gonna buy a pint, and 2 or 3 days later I'm gonna buy another one, and she's like, one day she was like, "Do you want ice cream?" Yeah. Okay. What kind do you want? At the time, I think it might have been it was the cookie dough. Cookie dough core. Okay. And 3 pints showed up on the front porch. Okay. So we just want to. We're just going to print out something. If we're ever close to a runway. Let's just see if it's happening at all. Because if we screwed up the latitude and longitude, I don't think that will ever happen. We'll never be close to a runway. It's not happening. It's not happening. It didn't happen. Oh my god. Okay. All right, where are we building these positions? So the runway X lon Y lat. That's right. The aircraft. Let me just see. Okay. Coordinates. First longitude. First longitude. Oh, shit. That's right, though. It seems right. Oh, wait. I mean, if it follows the same order, coordinates, longitude, latitude, X, longitude, Y, latitude. Oh. Is this meters or something? Turn value meters. We have feet. It should still work. 3.28. Well, this has been a little bit of a disaster. I don't want to stop though. We got to have some success. Episodes 1 and 2, we got something. Actually, oh, and I didn't mention the last episode stopped. It's not always in my power. The last episode only ended. I mean, I was about to end it, to be honest. I was about to stop it because we reached a good point, but then the power went out. It was the Santa Ana winds. Knocked my power out. And that's what actually ended the live stream. Okay, I might stare at this silently for a minute. Or maybe someone will just chime in the chat and say, oh, you did. Yeah, see, if there were more people watching, they'd be telling me constantly what I was doing wrong. This code would be much better, much faster. No, they'd screw it up. There'd be a lot of noise too. People telling me all sorts of wrong things. Okay, right. I didn't even think of this. So we check all runways. If it's close to any runway, it's true. Okay, that's right. I kind of like naming the variables with the units. Just helps me. If it's close to any runway, the runway position, see, runway position and this position is less than the threshold. I mean, I guess I want that. If it's less than or equal to the threshold, it's close enough. If close to runway, how can it not be close to any runway? It's ridiculous. It's crazy. Well, what if I mean, just my hypothesis, I have a hypothesis, which is that can only happen if lat and lon are screwed up. It's the only way it can happen. That's not true, but that's my hypothesis right now. Amy told me I need better lighting because I kind of look like one of those guys that looks like a thumb when I'm close up to the camera like this. Like guys are kind of like the receding hairline or not a lot of hair, kind of a thicker head, a big head. I have a big head. Amy thought the lighting would help me with that, which is a generous take. Nothing. Still nothing. I better change that back immediately before I completely confuse myself. Right, this is some very sophisticated analysis we're doing here. Looking at runways and positions and speeds and altitudes and ignoring time. But I still thought it would work. Okay. Okay, this is the part that takes, well, this is the part that makes for somewhat maybe less interesting streaming video because I need to focus and I maybe can't talk while I'm doing that. So here's my thumb head close up. It's okay, I'm just gonna stare at it for a minute. This is also programming ASMR. Okay, we'll just take a tiny break where I'm going to show you this cool project that I saw today. So this is a guy who, oh, nice. This is a guy who set up a camera at his house, and it uses ADS-B data to aim a 30 times optical zoom camera or something like that, pan tilt zoom camera at the aircraft as it flies by and takes an image of it. It's pretty awesome. I mean, they kind of look the same here. That's the aircraft he gets. And the code to do this is on GitHub. There's a whole design. There's hardware. There's like STL files for the hardware. Where the hell is it? Where's the GitHub? Well, the software and hardware designs are all from IQT Labs, which is In-Q-Tel, which is CIA. And it's absolutely a thing that I've wanted to do for a couple of years. It's like they reached right into my brain. I mean, a number of people are interested in doing this. This seems to be one of the better implementations. Look at this. Portable systems you can set up anywhere, run off batteries or off AC power. So of course, I immediately was looking on eBay for one of these. These cameras I think, are not as high zoom. If you're close up, it's okay. The stuff I'm interested in, I want high zoom. So I searched eBay for one of these and found one for $500. A friend got it. It's on the way. Okay. So that was a little digression. I was hoping my unconscious mind would work on this problem and solve it. I'm going to blame GitHub Copilot. It probably did something wrong. I try to write the most careful code, so well planned, and then I just hit tab one too many times or a little too eagerly and accept the Copilot suggestion, and this whole thing now is a mysterious broken piece of code. Just to check. If we do this. I know it's, yeah, you should warn me about that. That's some pretty bad code there, but I just want to make sure it works. So we should get plenty of stuff now, right? I'm stopping in 5 minutes, one way or another. Yeah. Okay. So it worked as I hoped it would. So this is the thing that's making it not work. Let's just see how many runways it's got, because the runways should have filtered out anything that don't have coordinates. So we should definitely see less than 43,141. 0. What? Okay. Yes, my God, that makes perfect sense. If there are no runways, it can't be close enough to a runway. It's perfect in its idiocy. I'm a perfect idiot. So what fucking failed here? So we, it's wonderful. Nothing. I mean, this is great. I feel so much better because now I know what part's failing at least. And it makes almost complete sense. We've localized the problem to just a few lines of code. It's just a matter of time, and we have 3 minutes. So let's just stare at this again. Four, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I guess let's just make sure nth is 0 indexed, just like I thought. Yes, it is. Oh, shit. That's it. That's it. It was, remember when we had to make calls mutable? That was a sign. That was the thing where you're like, I don't know what's going on. I don't know why it has to be mutable. And my lack of understanding and curiosity about that fact is what has led us to this state now. I have 2 minutes, but I think we're real close. Well, how do they recommend we solve this problem? So the problem is that when we call nth, we're consuming the first 2 columns. And so now this is no longer the 9th column. This is like the 11th, or, no longer the 10th, it's the 12th. So there's the latitude and longitude is not, it's all screwed up. It's totally wrong. Thank God. So let's just see how to actually use this. I mean, it would be so nice just to index directly into it. I wonder if you can do... I mean, this is ugly, but can I do... okay. Zero, 1... 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I mean, might be possibly worth looking at the documentation. For column. Yeah, okay, fine. We're gonna do this really bogus thing. 0, 1, 2. So we consumed. So we consumed 3. I want the 10th 7. Okay, and then we just want the next one after that. Let's try that. What? What's wrong? Oh yeah, sure. We could use next instead of 0. That's true, but this is some really pathological code. I want a reminder that it's pathological. Oh, I'm 1 minute over. But we're so close. This could be it. This could be it. Okay, it's still reading aircraft, so we're still okay. Oh. No. No. What's it dying on? Is this now an empty string? Probably. So we're gonna see some empty stuff. In my defense, I did have a little bit of a larger than average drink. I can only have one. I can only have half of one. Well, sure, yes, the header. The header will not parse, of course. Okay, great. That's correct. So let's do this. If let since return error. Yeah, okay, blah blah blah, blah blah blah. That's what we want. Yep. This music is getting to be a bit much. Three minutes over. We only have 2 more minutes. We're so close. Can you hear me? Checking. It's time to check the microphone. Can you even hear me? Yes. Okay. Okay. It's working. It's working. We're getting runways. We're getting close to some runways. This is it. 3 minutes after my deadline. Programmer Thumbman has done it. Battled every inch to get this far. $11,220 runways, 6,715 aircraft, and one guy who can barely cope. One thumb man who can barely cope. My ice cream is waiting. Come on, 1 more minute. Oh, now we're to the part that's really slow now that it works, because every point at 0 altitude needs to be checked against 11,000 runways, of course. And I couldn't just Am I printing these as we go? Probably not. No, well, yeah, okay. So if we see one, it'll print. Just get one. 1035, but it's not 1036 yet. If it's 1036, I'm just hitting abort stream. I'm just going to pull the plug. The power's going to go out again. Hey, why don't we I'll just have a bunch of cores on this machine. We'll just run it in more threads. I can overcome my terrible programming with more threads. That always works. Yes, ground stop anomalies is using a lot of CPU. I mean, honestly, how is it not using 100%? How was it like 92? What else is it doing? It's pure CPU. All right, well, let's just take this time to appreciate this awesome music. Like you just do like, let's do metal. I mean, we're almost done, right? DMCA free metal. Yes. You must be insane. Wait, is it all Alec Cough? What? Wait, what? Android? This is Cyberpunk. Well, that's... Well, oh, yes. This is like some 9 Inch Nails. Oh my god, it finished, but it didn't find anything. But it kind of mostly somewhat worked. I'm gonna say that's good for tonight. Because this is oh, let's just listen to a few seconds of electronic dance, and then I'm gonna say goodnight. Is every single song by Alec Koff? No. Now, down here, there's Comba Christ. And Neutronic. Oh, here we go. Good night. Thank you. Tune in next time. Stay safe. Do you really watch her?